The Life is Strange series now has 4 mainline titles, and we're a long way away from when the controversy of Life is Strange 2 was fresh in our minds. This seems to have been forgotten by a lot of people, but this game was very tumultuous when the episodes were releasing. A lot of people were upset that the sequel didn't follow Max and Chloe. A lot of people were upset that each chapter took place in a different location. People were upset that we weren't playing as the character with the power. We've had 2 mainline games since all of this, so I thought it would be a good time to revisit Life is Strange 2, as I firmly believe that it always deserved better. At the heart of Life is Strange 2 lies the relationship between Sean and Daniel, 2 brothers forced into an unexpected journey after a tragic incident turns their lives upside down. Their bond is the emotional core of the game, and its depth and realism makes them some of the most well-written characters in the series. The way their relationship evolves through love, conflict and growth adds layers of complexity that resonate deeply with you as you play. When you first meet Sean and Daniel, their dynamic feels very familiar and very believable. Sean has typical teenage concerns like friends, school, romance, and this cool party that he needs to go to, and he initially views Daniel as the pesky little brother. Meanwhile, Daniel looks up to Sean, but also relishes teasing and challenging him. This sibling dynamic is instantly relatable, grounding their relationship in a sense of normalcy before the chaos of their journey begins. The sudden death of their father Esteban shatters this normalcy and forces Sean into a parental role for which he is neither prepared nor emotionally ready. This shift sets the stage for the central tension in their relationship. Sean must learn to guide and protect Daniel, whilst Daniel also grapples with the trauma of loss at a much younger age. He also has to deal with the challenges of growing up and the newfound responsibility of his telekinetic powers. Sean's journey as a character is deeply tied to his role as Daniel's protector. Thrust into a position of authority, he must balance being a brother with being a surrogate parent. This dual role is fraught with difficulty, and you can see how Sean's youth and inexperience affect his decisions. For instance, when deciding how to handle resources, whether to steal food for survival or maintain a moral high ground, you feel the weight of Sean's choices on Daniel's development. Sean knows that Daniel is watching and learning from him, which adds a layer of pressure to even the smallest of decisions. At the same time, Sean is still a teenager himself, prone to frustration, mistakes, and emotional outbursts. This vulnerability makes him incredibly human and relatable, as you see him struggle to be a role model whilst dealing with his own grief and uncertainty. Daniel's character is equally rich, defined by his innocence, curiosity, and emotional volatility. As a child, he looks to Sean for guidance and reassurance, but he also pushes boundaries, testing the limits of his independence and his telekinetic powers. Daniel's powers serve as both a metaphor for his growing autonomy and a literal source of tension within their relationship. One of the game's strengths is how it portrays Daniel's emotional development. He experiences fear, anger, and guilt, all of which influence how he uses his powers. For example, if Sean encourages honesty and restraint, Daniel may learn to control his abilities and use them responsibly. However, if Sean prioritizes survival at any cost, Daniel would adopt a more self-serving and reckless mindset. This interplay highlights how deeply Daniel's character is shaped by Sean's actions, reinforcing the significance of their bond. Conflict is an inevitable part of their relationship. They are brothers, and it's through these moments of tension that their characters shine most brightly. Sean and Daniel frequently clash over their differing priorities and perspectives. For Sean, the focus is survival and keeping Daniel safe, whilst Daniel as a child often struggles to understand the gravity of their situation. Sean's frustrations often lead to confrontations where his role as a brother collides with his responsibilities as a guardian. These arguments feel raw and authentic, reflecting the natural friction that arises when 2 people are forced to rely on each other in extreme circumstances. Despite their conflicts though, their love for each other remains unwavering. Moments of tenderness remind you of the deep bond they share. These moments of connection make their struggles all the more poignant, as you see how much they do truly care for each other despite the hardships they're constantly facing. A significant aspect of Sean and Daniel's relationship is how it explores themes of identity and responsibility. As Mexican-American brothers, they face discrimination and prejudice throughout their journey, which adds another layer of complexity to their bond. Sean feels a heightened sense of responsibility to protect Daniel from a world that is often hostile towards them for reasons Daniel is not yet old enough to fully understand. This shared experience of being outsiders strengthens their relationship. It's the two Wolf brothers against the world, but it also creates challenges. Sean sometimes underestimates Daniel's ability to understand their circumstances, leading to moments of tension where Daniel often feels patronised. At the same time, Daniel's growing awareness of the world around him forces Sean to confront his own fears, deepening his character development. What makes Sean and Daniel's relationship so compelling is how much agency you as the player have in shaping it. The choices you make as Sean directly influence Daniel's behaviour and personality, creating a deeply personal connection to their story. For instance, if you consistently show patience and empathy towards Daniel, he grows into a compassionate and responsible individual. Conversely, if you make selfish or morally questionable decisions, Daniel may adopt a more cynical worldview. Life is Strange 2 is really the only game in the series that I feel handles choice and consequence correctly, as the ending isn't just decided by one choice you make as Sean, but also by a choice Daniel makes, based on how you've raised him throughout the game. It's an extra element, and no other game in the series even tried to replicate it, which is a huge shame. This mechanic doesn't just affect the narrative, it reinforces the themes of responsibility and influence. As Sean, you feel the weight of every decision, knowing that your actions have a direct impact on the person Daniel will become. This dynamic makes their relationship feel alive and ever-changing, drawing you further into their story. By the end of the game, the culmination of Sean and Daniel's journey delivers a powerful emotional payoff. The final choice, which determines their fate, is not just about the plot, it's about the bond you've cultivated between them. Whether they part ways or remain together, the resolution feels earned because of the time you've spent nurturing their relationship. Sean and Daniel's story is ultimately one of love, sacrifice and growth. Through their struggles, they teach you about the complexities of family and the resilience of the human spirit. It's a testament to the game's writing that their bond feels so genuine, making them unforgettable characters whose journey lingers with you long after the credits have rolled. One of the major points of contention with this game at launch was how each chapter was set in a different place with entirely new cast members. A lot of people didn't like this, but by moving Sean and Daniel to a new environment in every chapter, the game mirrors the unpredictability and instability of their journey whilst highlighting their emotional growth. The design choice reinforces the themes of impermanence, personal transformation, and the enduring bond between the brothers. The constantly changing locations reflect the essence of a road trip, immersing you in Sean and Daniel's transient and unstable lives. Unlike the first Life is Strange, which had a fixed central setting in Arcadia Bay, Life is Strange 2 displaces its protagonists repeatedly. Each new chapter represents a stage in their physical and emotional journey, emphasising that they are always outsiders, never being able to find a lasting place of safety or belonging. Whether hiding in the wilderness, working on a farm, or finding temporary solace in a desert community, Sean and Daniel are forced to adapt to their environment. This constant movement keeps the narrative dynamic, whilst conveying the brothers' struggle for survival and identity. The episodic structure also enhanced the game's focus on personal growth by presenting Sean and Daniel's development in distinct stages. Each chapter offers a snapshot of their lives, exploring how they adapt to new challenges and how previous events have shaped their decisions and their relationship. For instance, the first episode introduces survival as a central theme, thrusting them into the wilderness where they must rely solely on each other. In the second episode, set at the grandparents' house, the focus shifts more towards family and trust, offering a temporary sense of stability whilst revealing the fragility of their situation and how quickly things can go wrong. The third episode introduces a rougher, more adult world as they join a communal farm, testing Sean's independence and Daniel's loyalty. Later episodes push them into morally complex situations, such as the religious cult in the fourth episode, where Daniel's abilities and autonomy are being manipulated. Finally, the fifth episode centers on themes of freedom and resolution as they near the Mexican border, bringing their journey to an emotional conclusion. By structuring the game this way, Don't Nod allowed each episode to feel like a self-contained arc while still contributing to the broader narrative. This episodic rhythm alternates between moments of calm and intense drama, mirroring the emotional peaks and lulls of the brothers' journey. For example, the tranquil opening of the second episode where Sean and Daniel bond over Christmas at their grandparents' house, is soon disrupted by a tense police chase. Similarly, the camaraderie of the farm workers in the third episode gives way to a heist gone wrong, fracturing the brothers' trust. This pacing keeps the narrative fresh and emotionally impactful, as each chapter brings new conflicts and dilemmas. The rotating cast of characters introduced in each chapter enriches the story by providing Sean and Daniel with diverse perspectives and challenges. Above all else, the episodic format also emphasises the impermanence of their connections. Each time they meet new people or find temporary comfort, circumstances force them to leave, often painfully. This creates a sense of bittersweet attachments for us as the player, as we grow to care about characters like Chris in the second episode or Cassidy in the third, only to see those relationships cut short. This impermanence mirrors the reality of Sean and Daniel's lives, making their struggle for stability and belonging all the more poignant. Amid these ever-changing environments and characters, the relationship between Sean and Daniel remains the emotional core of the game. The episodic structure highlights the evolution of their bond as they adapt to new circumstances. Ultimately, the episodic structure ensures that Sean and Daniel's journey feels dynamic and authentic, reflecting the impermanence of their lives on the run. Each chapter's new setting not only keeps the narrative fresh, but also underscores the game's central themes of growth, impermanence, and the search for belonging. Whilst the environments and characters change, the bond between Sean and Daniel remains the story's anchor, growing deeper and more complex with every challenge they face. Hi everyone, this is me. Look how cool I am. Just wanted to take a quick break from the video to say that if you're enjoying the content, then to please check out some of the other videos on the channel if they look interesting to you. You'd be doing yourself a favour if you really think about it. I even have a playlist with some of my best videos, so they're easy viewing. Thanks guys, back to the video. One thing that's always stood out to me about Life is Strange 2 is how good the cinematography is and the general framing of each scene. The game frequently employs wide cinematic shots to showcase the vast landscapes that the brothers are traversing. These expansive vistas not only highlight the beauty and diversity of the American terrain, but also underscore the themes of isolation and freedom central to the narrative. In contrast, close-ups are used sparingly but with great impact, particularly during emotionally charged moments. By focusing on the faces deeply, these shots draw attention to their internal struggles, creating an intimate connection between us and them. Lighting also plays a crucial role in shaping the mood of each scene. The game relies heavily on naturalistic lighting, transitioning seamlessly between different times of day and weather conditions. Warm, golden hour hues often convey moments of peace or nostalgia, whilst colder, starker lighting enhances tension or despair. This dynamic use of lighting emphasises the emotional tone of each chapter. Camera movement is another element that mirrors cinematic techniques. The game often transitions smoothly between static and dynamic shots depending on the context. During exploration or quiet moments, the camera lingers, encouraging you to absorb the environment and reflect on the story. In contrast, more active moments such as confrontations or action sequences feature tighter framing and quicker cuts, heightening the sense of urgency. Life is Strange 2 was a tumultuous game back when the episodes were releasing, but as the years have gone by, more and more people are appreciating it for what it was. It switched up the formula from the first game for sure, and drastic decisions such as these are bound to divide some players, especially a community as hell-bent on supporting the original game as the Life is Strange community is. But a lot of these changes do work, and I think if most people who didn't like it back then were to give it another try now, I think they would enjoy it a lot more than they did. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. I hope that you did enjoy it. If you did, then please consider leaving a like, because that would mean a massive amount to me. And if you want to see more videos from me, then just subscribe, you fool, because then you will see more every single week. But for now, that is all. Have a nice day, and goodbye.